Hey, so today I'm going to try to process LeBaron's M31, and originally it looks like this. I'll stretch it there. So it's got a lot of sky glow, and we'll get into it. And the original result that I got was this. So I guess that's kind of what we're going for. It's probably not going to look exactly like that. I'll make a couple of different adjustments, but you should be able to see live kind of what we're going to do. So initially it looks like nothing because it's linear, but if I hit Command A on the Mac, it'd be Control A on the PC. Now we can suddenly see what's beyond there, but it's just overloaded with sky glow. So I'm going to hit Screen Transfer Function, and I'm going to unlink the color channels here in the with the chain, and then re-auto stretch it with the little nuclear sign there. So, okay, we're starting to see some of our data in there, and my first step is going to be to crop to deal with some of this background information. So I'll do a dynamic crop and hit reset to get my edges and bring it in a bit. Kill that dust mote there. That looks alright. And I'll crop it and then do the Command A, the auto stretch. And okay, so it's clear that we have some background to get rid of. I'll try to make it a bit bigger here. Tuck this away. So if I wanted to be meticulous, I could go and use dynamic background extraction. I'm just going to try automatic background extractor and see what I can get. I'm going to do a subtraction and replace the target image to keep the history going. And when I run it, see what the model looks like that it generates. Looks about like what we had, and this looks terrible, but then I'll re-auto stretch it, and there we are. So it's smoother. Again, we could spend a lot of time getting the corners. These dust motes, we could deal with flats and things like that, but we'll work with what we got. So the color data is in there, but it looks very, very yellowish, so we're going to need a good trick to pull that out. But first, because it's a color image, we want to pick a small background sample. I'll just go over here maybe. It's okay if there are a couple stars in there. And then make a preview with kind of the main galaxy itself here as a white balance, a white reference. And I'll come up into color calibration and first do a background neutralization. And I'll pick the first preview there as the background reference. Just taking the defaults here. Didn't seem to do anything, but it works in the actual histogram. So after background neutralization, we do color calibration, and we're going to use a small preview over the center of the galaxy. So let's preview 2 and turn off structure detection, and then preview 1 will still be our background sample. I moved them around a little bit, and there we see some of the true colors coming out. So now I can clear the previews, and that's what our, we can kind of see the color in there, but it's very faint. So now we need to go nonlinear. So I'm going to take histogram transformation, and I need that screen transfer window up. And I'm going to drag the screen transfer function, this is the auto stretch that it did, onto here, and we see how it'll stretch it. And then I can apply that to the image. Now it's white because it's doubly stretched. So now I'll turn off the screen transfer, and we have our stretched color image. And you can see that here. So now we want to get some of that color out. I think initially I'll just darken the background. I'm going to turn on range selection. This is for making a mask, and I'll just darken the background right away before doing the color trick. So initially it's white. That means nothing is masked out. Then as I dial up the lower limit, see the structure start to appear. I can turn fuzziness on to get some of the actual detail, and then dial up the smoothness. So I'm really just trying to get at the, separate the object from the background. Not too worried about the rest of it. It's good to have some of the brighter stars. So that works. And now I'll run it and apply it. and invert it. All right, so now we're just looking at the background. I'll turn off show mask. And I'm just going to come in here into curves and pull some of the brightness out of there. So I will turn on the preview and just watch the real-time preview and just darken it out a fair bit. Okay. So we don't want to go, completely to black or anything. Okay, now the question is, how do we go from this, it almost looks grayscale image, to a really nicely saturated color image? And so here's the trick. I'm going to take the mask off for now. I'm going to extract a luminance. See, they almost look the same, but there is a bit of color in there. And then I'm going to apply this luminance back onto this image with LRGBCombination. And what I'm going to do is uncheck everything except for the L, and the luminance is going to be that one that we just made. There are other ways to do this, I'm sure, but I really like this trick. I learned it on the official YouTube channel. And then by lowering this saturation slider and applying, I might do this a couple times to really get colors that I want. We can see, oh yes, quite a bit more color in there. Maybe I'll push it even a little bit more. And then when I'm happy, I'll also turn on chrominance noise reduction. That helps with the not getting that nasty color noise. So it takes a little bit longer. You don't want to do it each time you test, but sometimes I'll spend 3 or 4 iterations here trying to get exactly the color I want. So that looks good. So I'll close that. I have a bit of green in there, so I'm going to use SCNR to chop out some of the green. Let's see if that looks better. So we went from here to here. Yeah, I like that better. Maybe not the full 100% here, but I really do want most of the green out of the image. So that works. And from here, we can turn that range selection back on and both boost the color here and suck some of the color out of the background there. So let me reapply that mask, that range selection mask, and show it. Okay, so it's there. So let me come back into curves, make this bigger if I can. There we go. And let me use my curves, and it's all kind of subtle moves at this juncture. So turn on a real-time preview, and let's boost the saturation up a bit. Sometimes I'll make it a little bit bluer, so it kind of really brings out the blue in the arms there. Don't want to go too crazy, but you can always check your progress with this little on-off. So it nicely gets the blue and cuts down on some of that yellowish haze. And we can mess around with the contrast a little bit. So darken and lighten, kind of really subtle little S-curve. So that's looking better. Again, not exactly what I did my original time around, but I'm just having fun with it, right? So I'll apply it, and then reset the tool, and now invert the mask to get at the background, and do a little bit more work on our background here. So darken, suck some of the color out of the background, preview it. Yep, so it's looking more defined. And again, that's all based on that range selection mask that we made. Good. Kill curves for now. A couple other things we can do. I'll remove the mask and make a star mask. I always find that shaping the stellar profiles a little bit, toning it down, always helps. So it really makes the image itself, the object itself, pop out. So extracting structures. Come on, there we go. Apply the star mask. The fan's really heating up here. We can see what that looks like. Yeah, it's great. Okay, and now do a morphological transformation. And so I already have this set up to do 5 by 5. I think if we started here, pick 5, and then pick like a circle, that circle structure there. And then we never want to do 100% here. I'll start at 50 and see how that looks. So that's pretty good. Kind of dims those stars significantly and really makes the image itself pop. Maybe a little less. I don't know. It's all a matter of taste at this point. We could run some. Maybe I'll reselect that mask, the range selection mask. Do a little morphological, or sorry, a little local histogram equalization, LHE. Just see what that looks like. See if we can get some of the detail out of there. Yeah, that's a bit much. So I'll always tone this one down a fair bit. And go from here to here. So you can see it's enhancing it nicely. We can mess with the radius and the amount mainly, or the two that I mess around with. So that looks pretty good. Could do a bit more with the color. Could do a bit more with the background. Just wait for this to finish here. I don't know. I think my original one was a bit more bold. Oh, and a bit more yellow too, so I went a bit bluer here. So you can see it's a bit of a matter of taste, but that should be enough to get you through some of the basics. I'd say that my main trick, my favorite trick, is that LRGB combination. So when you're in here, looks like there's almost no color at all. Just use LRGB combination, and I'll pull that color right in, and then jump around. So that's processing Luminance M31 in PixInsight. Let me know if you have any questions, need any help. I'm always happy to process. This is what I do for fun. See you later.